we can begin, and if anyone chooses to join us later on, they would be so welcome. Let's direct our minds down to our breath. We're 3 conscious in-breaths and out-breaths. And with a deep in-breath, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I prepared something special for us today. We're going to have a couple of exercises, so some of these abstract concepts can sink into our consciousness. This is the last installment of the book, The Fifth Agreement by Don Miguel Ruiz and his son, Don Jose. A Toltec wisdom book, a practical guide to self-mastery. We're going to go into chapter 12, which is a new point of view. Of course, he's recommended this new point of view before. So the repetition of the material helps us to look at it from different angles. So it sinks in and becomes useful. Becoming a seer. Do you know what a seer is?
Yeah.
If you look at the first 3 letters of it, it'll give you a hint.
Oh, see.
See.
See with new eyes.
Someone who sees. A seer is merely someone who sees, perhaps deeper or from a higher vantage point. So people call that person a seer because they have seen and are seeing so much and can guide others to see the things that they see. So they're called a seer. Usually also implies a person of wisdom, using his ability to see to gain some wisdom, becoming a seer. 2,000 years ago, a great master said, and you will know the truth. And the truth will set you free. And you will know the truth. And the truth will set you free. Well, now you know the truth is what you are. What you experience of yourself and what you yourself experience, what you are, that's the truth. What's not the truth is all the ways we talk about it and represent it. But the truth is what you are, simply. The next step is to see the truth and be a seer. So how to see the truth? To see what you are. See what you are. Only then are you free, once you see. Free of what? Free of all the distortions in your knowledge. Free of all the emotional drama that is the consequence of believing lies. These might seem like inflammatory statements. We may not want to go along with his assertions here. Free of the distortions in your knowledge. Wait a minute. Who are you to say I have distortions in my knowledge? I've carefully collected all my knowledge. I've thrown out the things that are not true and just kept the ones that were. What distortions? And then he says, free of the emotional drama, which comes from believing lies. Well, we may react to that and say, wait a second, I don't believe lies. Who do you think you are here? But he gives us a hint. He says, if we experience emotional drama, any drama in our lives, drama is when we have an emotional story. We've heard others who we recognize have emotional drama. They have these stories full of emotion. During the election season, we've seen some Democrats with a huge amount of emotional drama as they tell their stories, as well as some Republicans with a huge amount of emotional drama as they tell their stories to the reporters who collect the stories for our entertainment.
Entertainment, yeah.
To get our attention. And Rees says the emotional drama is the consequence of believing lies. So if we can see in others, gee, maybe their emotional drama is they're not believing the truth. We can see that. Maybe if we have some emotional drama in our life, maybe that's a hint that there's something there that's not quite true. He calls it a lie, which is kind of inflammatory. But we could just say, well, if there's some emotional drama, maybe it's just something there that I've always thought is true, but maybe isn't, which is a less provocative way of thinking about it than saying we believe lies, but it's the same thing. So here's where we're going. I have an exercise right up front here because these concepts are so hard to get our minds wrapped around. The distortion of our knowledge, the drama of believing lies. So are you ready to take a dive inside and see what comes up for us?
Sure.
Let's see if we have any knowledge distortions or see if we can spot any non-truths. The power of doubt. Would you be willing to check to see if you happen to have any knowledge distortions? So maybe we think we've been very cautious. We've only put the things in our minds that are true, cast out the things that weren't, and are continually doing that. Would you be willing to check and see if there's any one or two or some knowledge distortions? And then how about checking for any lies or non-truths you believe and the drama that ensues? We have to be willing to do these things for the exercise to work for us. And if we're not willing, that's okay. We can just observe. So here we go. If we're willing, here's the exercise. And I'm just repeating what I said. Are you offended that the book dares to assert that some of your beliefs are lies? I'm reminded of the people, the Democrats and Republicans shouting each other on the street in the protests, saying, you lie, and the other one saying, you lie to each other. They're all full of emotion. And each one offends the other. Are we offended that the book dares to assert that some of our beliefs are lies? Do we take offense? Or are we just willing to go along with the flow of it? Well, maybe they are, no big deal. We're so invested in being right and not being wrong that to think maybe some of our beliefs are lies sort of implies that we're wrong and we're not right. We just want to be right. So important. So taking away the emotion of being right or wrong, well, Are we willing to go along with maybe some things are lies? Are you ready to jump in anyway? See what comes up. So here we go. Let's take 3 deep breaths together. Then we'll leave our eyes open. With our eyes open, we've taken our deep breaths, we're centered. Let's look at the next image. Oh my gosh, that looks familiar. We're just going to look at that and experience that image right now. And recognize that the experience we're having is probably the truth. So there's the image. Here's some questions. Pick which belief is a lie. So assuming maybe we got some beliefs which are lies, let's pick one. Multiple choice. That's not too hard. I believe that this is a green cup. Is that a lie? I believe this is a green puck.
Yes.
Is that the truth or a lie? Which belief is a lie? All of the above are lies.
Yeah. When we have a belief, it's like a thought of either or in this case, right or wrong. The cup or the puck. And so if we take a step back, it's the spiritual wisdom to know the difference that we're in the right or wrong or either or zone instead of the spiritual light of what is.
Yeah, so just to keep it simple, do you believe this is a green cup? Yes or no? Do you believe this is a green puck? Yes or no? Do you believe all of the above are lies? Or none of the above?
Or we can say it in Korean language, mother, father is 엄마, 아빠. And so neither. It's just a label to describe.
So there's a part of us that might believe one of these statements, even though now we're having some intellectual discussions about it. And there's a part of us that believes it's a lie. I know a lot of people that if we were to say, do you believe this is a green puck? They'd say, no, I don't believe that. We've had an exercise where we got to the point where we believe that, maybe. So which is a lie? Which is a lie? Which is not the truth? That's it. Pretty simple. Just some really simple beliefs, because the more complicated ones get us in our heads. Are any of those statements truth or lies? All of them were lies, or really none of them were lies in our belief system. Becoming a seer, free of all of the distortions in your knowledge. Where do beliefs lie? In your knowledge. That's where the beliefs have life, in your knowledge. Free of the distortions in your knowledge. Free of all of the emotional drama that is the consequence of believing lies. So that's what becoming a seer is. Free of the distortions in your knowledge, your beliefs, and free of the emotional drama which is the consequence of putting so much weight, putting our whole personality behind something that may not be true.
We can also change the word lies to thoughts. So free of all the distortions in your knowledge, free of all the emotional drama, that is the consequence of believing thoughts. To me, that lands better.
Right, believing thoughts. So thoughts are not where the repository truth lies. The repository truth lies in that experience we had when I brought the image up.
Yeah. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Sam. When the truth sets you free, the symbols you learn, or the thoughts in your mind, are no longer ruling your world. Are we the servants run by the master, the thoughts, the symbols, or is some other part of us, the part of us that experienced that image, is that the master and the thoughts are the servants, which we can choose and re-choose. So the truth sets you free. That's what the freedom is, when the symbols, the thoughts no longer rule you, rather they're your servants. Then it's no longer about being right or wrong. We just want to be right. And we see this in the national drama, how people are so invested in being right. And they see so clearly that the other side is wrong. Half the country thinks they're right and the other side is wrong, and the other half thinks they're right and the other side is wrong. So in that sense, neither side is free. So when we graduate from being right and wrong, or good or bad, it's just the thoughts in our minds. Try not to take them too seriously. Becoming is here. It's not about being a winner or a loser either. We might think, well, if our way of believing prevails and we can persuade or convince others to think like we do, we're the winner. Then we might experience, oh, I did my best, but they don't see things the way I see things. They're not behaving the way I was brought up to behave. They're behaving the way that I just see is incorrect, and I'm not able to have an influence on them to behave correctly. Therefore, I'm a loser. Our current president has a big investment in being a winner. He says so. And he calls other people for whom he has less respect losers. So you can see that he is invested in not being a loser. Now he has a challenge in front of him, because since he has probably lost this election, our current president may think he might be a loser, and he does not want to be a loser. Who's judging him to be a loser? He himself. He himself. And if other people call him a loser, it's merely to invoke that feeling he himself has. Because if we don't think of ourselves as winners or losers, but rather something else, just spiritual beings having human experience, and we're not winning or losing.
There's a process, as you know, we can shift into needs awareness, needs consciousness.
Right. So a person like yourself who's so familiar with nonviolent communication, when the belief I'm a winner or I'm a loser, or you see that out there comes up, you can shift away from that into NVC, nonviolent communication, and rather look at needs that underlie the desire to be a winner and to avoid being a loser. By focusing on the needs, you're not so invested in winning and losing. It also is not being young or old. Well, I don't know about me. I'm invested in being young. When I get old, I'll let you know. How to be being young or old, or beautiful or ugly. I've never had issues about being beautiful or ugly, but some people do. Some people get those labels applied to them, perhaps early in life, and keep those labels, and it's a struggle. But then when we become a seer and can see, we realize that these are just thoughts. And they're actually lies, but like you said, we can just call them thoughts. All that is over. We can learn to step back. It was all nothing but symbols or thoughts, just thoughts. You'll know that you are totally free when you no longer have to be the you that you pretend to be.
Let's read that again, please.
You'll know that you're totally free when you no longer have to be the you that you pretend to be. We all pretend to be a certain person. We'll have another little exercise coming up, which will help us to internalize that. Rather than just experience ourselves as being a presence in the world, we experience ourselves as the way we wish other people to see us, hope other people see us, experiencing other people see us, and then that's how we see ourselves. And that's a pretense. That's a pretense based on the symbols and the thoughts, so on. So we no longer have to be that pretense that we hope other people see us as a winner. Donald Trump wants everyone to see him as a winner. Doesn't want anyone to see him as a loser. And when I see his supporters interviewed, they all see him as a winner. So that pretense that he's a winner, satisfying for him. He gets reinforcement for it. So I don't think he's at the state where he no longer has to be that pretense. So when we get to that state, then we're totally free. And the freedom is profound. So what is it that we're pretending to be that we don't even notice? It's sort of like background noise. It's just there, but we don't notice it. I'm a winner. I'm a loser. I'm beautiful. I'm ugly. I'm the greatest. I don't amount to much of anything. I'm happy all the time. I'm depressed a lot. All of these are pretenses. So you'll know you're totally free when you don't have to be what you're pretending to be. Rather, you can be a seer and see what you truly are. And that freedom is profound.
It's really just about letting go of our thoughts and being in the present moment. Right?
Being the present moment. He goes on, imagine living without fear. Without fear of what people will say. Without fear of emotional disruptions. Without fear of bodily harm. without fear for the safety of our friends and loved ones, without fear of being somehow in a country that doesn't respect our way of seeing things. Imagine living without fear and without judgment. Always judging who's right, who's wrong, without blaming. For some of us, when a possible mistake is pointed out, we immediately fall into blame mode. We don't want to be blamed. So we look to see how it's someone else's fault, not our fault. Rather than looking at those who point out a fault as our benefactors, our greatest benefactors, opening the door to new ways of seeing ourselves. No, you say, well, it's not my fault. It's the universe's fault. Without guilt. Guilt is the carrying of thoughts, judgments about past experiences. Guilt has nothing to do with the present moment. Guilt has to do with the thoughts in our minds in the present moment that we were wrong at some point. Without shame. Imagine that there's nothing about us that we're not proud of. There's no little part of us we're ashamed of and don't want people to know about. Prefer not to think about. Imagine. Imagine living your life without trying to please other people's points of view, which is a lot of what believing in guilt and shame are, and fear. Yeah. Without trying to please other people's points of view and not even your own point of view. There's the rub. We have a point of view that we're invested in pleasing. Yeah. We have our story that we tell everyone, and we don't want to do anything that makes our story wrong. Just imagine the union between you and your body if you were completely loyal to your body. The union, if you were loyal, if you were completely grateful for your body. Imagine. Every little part of your body is something you can be grateful for and appreciate. Grateful for your body, every part. The way you look, the way you feel, your strength, your weakness, the way you appear to others, the way you appear to yourself, the workings of your body. Grateful. Imagine being in union between you and your body. Imagine not trying to convince anybody of anything. Not trying, not feeling the urge, noticing, but not acting on it. Someone says something and you have this great insight, aha, I've been there. I'm going to share now with them that I was in that same situation and here's what I know about that so that I can convince them of something. It's just a reaction in us. We say, oh my gosh, I know something that you don't know. I've had a similar experience and here's how I did well with that experience. So I can convince others to look at things from my point of view, not even trying. Imagine that just by being yourself, you are happy. You're always sitting in a field of flowers and the sun is shining, not too hot and not too cold. And it's beautiful and you're just happy, just being yourself. And that wherever you go, heaven is going with you. You don't have to search for heaven anymore. It's where you are now. And wherever you go, you still got it with you. It's just part of your experience of life, being in heaven. Can you imagine that? Because you are heaven, the real you, you are heaven. That's why, because we are heaven, just like in our idea of heaven, everything is perfect, everything is the best. That's why, since we are heaven, we deserve to have the best, and we deserve to have everything. We never need to shortchange ourselves in any way or any false prophecy or fear. Since we are heaven, we just deserve the best in every moment, which may include, in some cases, a brand new automobile. The people in heaven don't drive old, broken down jalopies. Everyone in heaven drives brand new, beautiful, shiny, perfect automobiles. And since we are heaven, we need to respect that we're heaven. Give ourselves the best that we're comfortable with. We're heaven. Imagine living with this kind of freedom. Yes, the truth will set you free, but first you need to see the truth. We need to see it. And then we're a seer, someone who sees. The truth will set you free, but we need to see it. See your environment all around you, right now. See your environment all around you. See your beliefs rather than letting the beliefs be your master. See them. See the way they're reflected in the story of your life. See your beliefs and see the way they're reflected in the story of your life. We all believe in the story of our life. I think I have an exercise now so we can start to internalize this. See your beliefs, the way they're reflected in the story of your life. Yep, there it is. The story of your life. Another opportunity to look at our beliefs. What is the story of your life? What's the story of your life? Might be quite long. Okay, let's start with the story of your childhood. Let's just start there. Let's start with the story of your childhood. We all have stories about our childhood. So here we go. Let's take 3 deep breaths together and knowing we're going to look at the story of our childhood. Let's allow our eyelids to close slowly or be closed so that I might guide you through an exploration of the story of our childhood. Think of your parents when you were a child, or your grandparents, either one. Think of your parents or grandparents when you were a child. In 3 or so sentences, if you're able, explain how, when you were a child, your parents influenced what you are today. Three or so sentences. Explain in a story how, when you were a child, your parents influenced what you are today. Do you need more time to explain how, when you were a child, your parents influenced what you are today?
Oh, so you want me to actually answer this? Okay.
You need more time to explain to yourself, when you were a child, how your parents influenced what you are today. Do you need more time?
No, I'm good.
Now repeat yourself again with your eyes closed. The sentences that explain how your parents influenced what you are today. Just go over them once again. Okay, you've repeated those sentences. Now, take a step back and see how this is one part of the story of your life. Stepping back, just notice. This is one part of the story of your life. Can you see that? As you were looking at the story of your life, this one part, see what beliefs you currently espouse or hold that came from the story. You're looking at the story. See what beliefs you currently hold or espouse that came from the story. What you believe. See those beliefs that you currently have that came from the story. Okay. Seeing what those beliefs are. Really see them. See your beliefs, the way they're reflected in the story of your life. See your beliefs and the way they're reflected in the story of your life. See how your beliefs are reflected in the story of your life. Once you've completed seeing how those beliefs are reflected in the story of your life, then you can take a breath and the exercise will be finished. As we look back on this exercise, now that it's over, we can see that we were looking at, or rather seeing, stories that are part of the story of our life and beliefs that are associated with part of a story of our life. We can just see that now. Any sharing before we move on?
One thought that came to my mind was to replace the non-serving thought, the imprint from my parents. God knows they're doing the best they can. But replacing those thoughts with the positive affirmation seems to facilitate letting go of that thought.
Sure, I got it. So as we were going through the exercise of telling the story and checking on the beliefs, a part of your mind wasn't content with just doing that. No, you go look to see if you're ready to drop those beliefs or change them or substitute new beliefs. That's where the mind went, as I'm hearing you say, which is natural, rather than just being at one with what those beliefs are. It's tough in a way just to be at one with our beliefs and just notice them and say, well, there they are, without wanting to fix them, just like we like to fix others.
I felt the felt sense of the body first. And then as I pressed through the little bit of mourning, I was able to kind of just acknowledge and translate what my mother and father were saying into a positive affirmation.
I got it. Instead of believing, Don Miguel says, just learn to see. Learn to see. What you believe, you distort right away according to your knowledge. And that's what I heard you doing. You had some beliefs, but as they came up, you began to distort them right away according to your current knowledge.
And this,
substitute some new beliefs for the old ones.
in this example, Steve, I'm imagining myself actually changing the word a little bit, instead of knowledge to belief. So instead of believing to learning to see, what you believe, you distort right away according to your thoughts and beliefs, the unserving thoughts.
Sure, Sam.
Or according to your internal judgmental thoughts.
What you believe are probably just beliefs.
Right.
They're just beliefs.
Right.
And the way you distort them right away is according to the working of your mind and thoughts. So a belief, in a way, is a static thing, but your knowledge is a dynamic thing as it looks at thought, moves on to new thoughts, wants to replace the old belief with a new belief. So that's how your knowledge works. That's how your thought process works. Mm-hmm. But the beliefs, if they came up, are probably static. They're just there. Maybe you like them, maybe you don't like them, maybe you want to change them, maybe you want to keep them, but they're static. Our knowledge is how we process things. And there's some distortion there as to our knowledge and desire to be right. we start distorting those beliefs that are just hanging out there. We work on them.
Yeah. Thank you.
But when you let go of that process of knowledge, working on them, and go beyond the symbols, which is what your thought process is, at a certain point in your life, you start to become a seer, someone who sees. Is okay with the beliefs that you got, you can see them. You may not act on them. You may not try to persuade others to hold the same beliefs, but there they are. So it's the knowledge that tends to grind those beliefs that we have once they come up. And it's that knowledge that works through symbols, language, as we talk to ourselves. So can we just become a person who sees, doesn't feel compelled to work through things, change things, alter them, distort them in a new way from the old way we distorted them? Just is at home with them. Oh God, that's my belief. I can see it. I can see it like it's emblazoned in light. I like it, I don't like it, well, who cares? I see it. Become a seer. A seer is a dreamer who has mastered the dream, who has learned to see. Just seeing, without the need to fiddle-faddle with it, or put it through the grinder of thoughts and knowledge, intelligence, intellect, transformation. I'm going to transform the way I think. Just sees. Artist, dreamer, messenger, seer. There are so many ways one can name oneself. I'm an artist, I'm a dreamer, I'm a messenger, I'm a seer. He says, I prefer to call you an artist because your whole creation is a masterpiece of art.
I like that.
He says, I prefer to call you an artist because your whole creation, the beliefs that you got that are static, the process that you go through distorting those beliefs by thinking about them, grinding through them, trying to change yourself, trying to change others. He says that whole creation is just a masterpiece of art that you, the artist, create moment by moment. So congratulations, we're all artists. This concludes our study of the book, Four Agreements. And
Thank you. Thank you, Steve.
so we'll see what where Spirit takes us in the future. Just a reminder to touch to give or donate. So we can close our session now, if you'd like to do that, by taking 3 deep breaths together. And with a deep in breath. Oh. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Have a beautiful day, my friend.
Thank you, Steve.
And all of us see, me too, the heaven we're living in.
Amen.
We're heaven. It's just part of our cloud of being we take with us wherever we go. We're just heaven. See you soon, my friend. Enjoy the service today.
Thank you. And thank you for this service.
God bless.